Autocar Professional. We are in Delhi today for the ACMA annual conference, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Arjun Jain. He's the CEO at Varroc's India business. Sir, it's a very turbulent time in the industry right now. We've just seen GST 2.0 happening, and it's brought a new rigor into the industry, so to say. How do you view that? Let's get into that first in terms of, do you see a real world impact of the GST rollout translating into the auto industry and demand revving up?
Yes, I think today in India we derive more than 2/3 of our revenue from two and three wheelers. So I will take a very simple perspective, but vehicle becoming cheaper can only be a good thing, right? So I think we're very excited by the news, and yes, expect good things going forward.
Whenever we talk about the auto components industry, it's pretty self-reliant. It's come a long way in terms of localization, exports. What are the new growth areas and suggestions for the industry that you would want to you see these potential growth areas for the industry?
Yes, I would say the trends in the industry have been quite consistent for quite some time, right? I would say two of the biggest trends would really be around vehicles becoming cleaner and greener. So, whether cleaner ICE powertrains, whether e-powertrains, I was starting to see some hybrid powertrains, particularly I would say in passenger car, and also level of premiumization, because customer demands also keep evolving, right, based on what they see in the rest of the world around them. So, I think from both those perspectives, I in my view, I think the industry continues to grow, industry continues to progress, and I think create significant opportunities, especially for a supplier like us. Who's generally always been very technology self-reliant and is always really focused on having localization, not necessarily just in manufacturing and supply chain, but really all the way through the value chain of the industry. So really through design, development, and manufacturing.
Yeah, we've spoken about making in India for the world, the China Plus One, which was, I mean, there was a lot of buzz around that until last year. Now we've seen muted growth in the industry this year, but hopefully GST will sort of change that and we'll see an upward trend. So how do you see India as its position to sort of make for the world, looking at globalization and current geopolitical trends?
So I would say, for sure, I think the clarity that existed maybe a year ago is probably not what exists today, but I don't think that changes really what we need to do really at least for us, it doesn't really change what we need to do, right? So we continue to progress. Along technology, along the product portfolio, that we define for ourselves, and we feel that you know as the market continues to evolve, I think becoming more capable and becoming more self-reliant only puts us in a stronger place rather than a weaker place, right? So, I would say the task doesn't change. Maybe yes, the global picture or maybe where your sales are going to come from maybe changes a little bit, but I don't think the task in front of us changes. I would also say, at this point, I think relatively India is a fairly good place to be, right? Because I think when we think about global automotive geographies, we're definitely doing, I would say relatively, we're definitely doing better.
From a Varroc's point of view, both globally and in India, what are the potential key growth areas that you would want to invest into the future? Because a major part of your job is to predict what will work in the future, which is probably the toughest part of your job as well. So how do you sort of navigate that?
So, like I said, right, I think there's two key trends in our view that really, drive the market and have been driving the market over the last few years. I think, cleaner powertrains, whether electric, whether ICE, and premiumization of, vehicle look and feel are, what we really look to focus on. And across our product portfolio, I think we feel very well placed to take advantage of the next generation, the next generation of these products. Right? In any evolving technology, you have to be able to iterate fast, and I think we have demonstrated that capability to iterate quite quickly. Right? So, as we keep becoming more mature, I think the opportunities also keep increasing.
With countries becoming more protectionist, and I mean we've seen FTAs. We're in talks with US and then UK FTA and Europe. So how does the global situation affect Indian manufacturers here in India, and also the export potential that changes with it?
See, I would not have the best lens to that because as an organization, we are, we have global locations, right? So we have locations not just in India, but also in Southeast Asia, also in Europe. So I think for us, the question is much more with our customers to align on where and how we service them, rather than to worry about being only in one geography versus the other. So I would say, I mean, nobody is immune, but I would say we're a little bit hedged from that perspective.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's important also for an auto ancillaries player at this point, because you don't know where the headwinds are going to turn. Just leave us with a few thoughts on India's future powertrain mix, because we're going to see a lot of mix. Like we hear of diesel coming back, and hear of hybrids making an inroads into the Indian markets with smaller hybrids and the GST benefit. A lot of churn is still going on in the industry. So how do you view this entire junction where we are at as an industry?
See, I would say trying to predict the powertrain of the future, and I said it before, is a little bit like crystal ball gazing. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll make a comment around that. I think from our perspective, the way it translates into strategy is really, as we think about cleaner powertrains and more efficient powertrains, across the different types of powertrains that are possible, we feel very well prepared. Right? So whichever direction the market turns, we believe we will continue to grow content. Of course, having said that, as a supplier that has been very localized for electronics, for more than 20 years now, e-powertrain is a huge opportunity. It enables significant content growth for us, but at the same time, for a lot of engine electricals, we are already market leader in our core markets. So whichever direction it goes, we feel comfortable with it.
But is that a challenge to localize global technologies at a cost that India asks for? That's always been a challenge for global players, especially who want to sort of understand the Indian market.
I think for us the advantage is that we are a global player, but we're an Indian global player, right? So for us, this is the first place something happens, right? So from that perspective, our natural incentivization is to do it, right? Which might be a little bit different for different people. So personally, we don't see that as a challenge. We see it as an opportunity.
Great. On that very, very optimistic note, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
So much.